No, I wouldn't include it actually in this magazine because it doesn't have any sense of attractiveness for young people.
So the main theme of this article would reflect kind of adventurous experience for young adults. I would suggest to leave A, B, C, D and avoid E then.
Absolutely agree. There is a strong link between the other photographs. This is a little bit out of place. So.
Thank you. Can I have the booklet, please? Okay. Now, in this part of the test, you're each going to talk on your own for about 2 minutes. You need to listen while your partner is speaking because you'll be asked to comment afterwards. So, Inga, I'm going to give you a card with a question on it, and I'd like you to tell us what you think. And there are also some ideas on the card for you to use if you like. And here's your card. All right. Now, please let Rebecca see it. And remember, Inga, you have about 2 minutes to talk about this before we join in. Okay.
Well, generally speaking, there are several important ways which we could use to protect the world we live in. And obviously, there's no need to say why we need to protect our world. And with regard to natural resources, it is one of the crucial issues which humankind is concerned with. And I'd like to say that natural resources must be spent in a economically reasonable way, and we should think about the development of alternative energy resources as well as renewable resources, which might help to contribute to the energy worldwide. And normally, natural resources might cause lots of troubles. For instance, explorations of natural resources might give some problems to the environment. And they also could influence places of natural beauty. And this is very important to protect because it's the place where we live. And wildlife is a sub-part of this ecosystem, and they are, I guess, all of them are interconnected. And it's quite important to support every part of the ecosystem. And for instance, I should say that there are lots of programs running right now which are supposed to protect the wildlife and to help to save some species which are under extinct. However, they might be not so effective as we suppose them to be.
Okay, thank you. And now, Rebecca, who does the responsibility for protecting the environment lie with?
I think it's individual responsibility, also government responsibility. I mean, I will correct myself saying that because I think initially it's the government who should definitely put more rules to protect the environment and also educate people in schools or even later on during their lives to protect and respect the nature. I think clearly we have to do our part too, but if we are not educated or conscious of how valuable is preserving natural resources and respecting wildlife, we are never going to be able to respect it. So I think it's a sort of teamwork, general work, coming from the government and going to families and childhood and developing in the rest of our lives.
Okay, do you agree?
Yes, it is actually a good point that the government should pay lots of attention on developing such programs. However, I would suggest that there should be complex programs within the families who would educate their children, who would separate the waste, who would take care of the water they consume, and etc.
Okay, thank you. Can I have the booklet, please? Okay, and now, Rebecca, it's your turn to be given a question. Okay. And here is your card. Okay, please let Inga see your card. And remember, Rebecca, you have about 2 minutes to tell us what you think. And there are some ideas on the card for you to use if you like. All right.
Okay, I think culture is an important part of the human being. So, for many reasons, one is identity, and one is also, I think, is attached to personality and something atavic. Something really important for humans to develop and preserve. Culture has been shown in different ways, like art, literature, buildings, architecture, or language. There are many ways to express culture. Buildings, they are an important aspect of the cultural input, and preserving them can be really, really valuable. How to do that? Again, I will go back to the government. I think the government should pay for the maintenance of buildings, and also educate people in different countries or different areas to have a better use of the buildings or understand the buildings in order to respect them. Other aspects of culture, like art and literature, we are really conscious of art and literature as aspects of culture, and I think they should be explaining people the value and educating again people to appreciate art and preserve art. Museums can do a great work in this aspect. Language is an interesting aspect of culture because preserving a language is an easy aspect of because it's necessary in our daily life. But there are many dialects that we are losing in different countries.
Thank you. Okay. And Inga, what impact has technology had on your culture?
Oh, well, I think in Russia, technology has an enormous impact on culture, especially if we go back to the period of Soviet Union, where there was an incredible development of technology in the country. There was, I think it has not only the impact on the culture, but on the society as well. And for instance, we could see some styles in architecture which reflect this development in culture, and we could see some literature which was developed under the impression of that technology boom. So I think those things are very interconnected.
Mm-hmm. And do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely agree. I think, and I like when she has mentioned the past of Russia, obviously, because that is it has a strong influence in the technology and in the development of technology in these days. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Can I have the booklet, please? Thanks. Now, to finish the test, we're going to talk about protection in general. So, in what ways do you think technology can enable us to better protect the world around us?
Okay. Yes. I think it can do a lot about natural resources, actually. I think it's a broad area that to explore by technology.
There might be, I guess there might be different dimensions of this type of protections. I don't really exactly understand what was meant by the technology and protection, but I guess if we are talking about the military aspect of this problem, of course, the higher the technology, the better protection we get. But at the same time, it might cause a negative side of the whole problem. So if one country has an exceptionally developed technology, especially military technology, it might have certain economical influences over the other countries, which has been done in the past time, and history has already seen these examples, I guess.
Yeah, it has obviously a double side in this case if there is an inequality between countries. But if there is equality, it can be really beneficial, I think, because it can, going back to military protection, I think it can help a lot about preventing problems that could happen rather than attacking other countries. So,
Yeah, I think another example might come from the health issues. For instance, if the technology is well developed, and it might prevent lots of things. For instance, in the elderly health care,